Three.
Welcome back to Dr. Walls and Friends. We are here with Charlene E. Green. You know I love that E because I'm Kathleen E. Walls. Also known as the Hustle Diva.
Not the, just Hustle Diva.
Oh, just Hustle Diva. Okay. All right. So tell us about Hustle. Tell us about Hustle Diva.
Okay. I took the name Hustle Diva back in 2009. It actually started off as sort of a joke, but I was doing so much at the beginning of my spoken word career, and I was always into something as far as like a project. And a Facebook friend of mine and I were joking, and I said, you know, I'm a diva. I'm the Hustle Diva. I said the Hustle Diva, and then you know we started joking and calling me that, and then after a while it stuck, and I was like, wait a minute, wait. I think I want that. I think that I want to brand myself that name. But a lot of people, they hear Hustle Diva and they think of it as me, you know, pushing my product on people, which I do. But hustle really means to work energetically or to gain by energetic effort.
That's right.
Diva is the Italian word for goddess. But a lot of people don't realize that. And so they hear the words hustle and diva and they have a whole other perception of what I'm talking about. So I have to tell them that's not, you know, my name means hardworking goddess.
Love it.
And so...
Wait a minute, let's pause with that. Hardworking
goddess.
Now, you know, I'm a teacher. So that's a teachable moment right there.
It is.
All right, and we also, I usually have a tambourine with me. Okay.
Would I get the tambourine?
You got the tambourine.
Yes, I got the tambourine.
Okay,
I got the tambourine.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So that is an important moment because when I do shows and I introduce myself, people want to tack on the hustle. I mean, I've been the Hustle Diva. I've been the Hustler Diva. I've been Hustling Diva. I mean, I've been every kind of, but Hustle Diva, and I correct them, and sometimes I think they think I'm just being picky, but I'm like, no, it's just Hustle Diva. I'm not the hustler.
Gotcha.
Because see, their perception is over there in that other realm of what that word means, and so it stuck, and I took it, and I wore it, and I became it, and people sometimes don't even use my name now, and it's fine because I am trademarking Hustle Diva.
Love it.
So that's how that came to be.
All right. Now I see some books in your hand. Tell us about these books.
Okay. First of all, I do several things. I tell people I'm a wordsmith because it's a little easier at first than trying to explain everything. Once I say I'm a wordsmith and they say, okay, what does that mean? I say my overall mission in my career is to teach, inspire, and help change lives through my words and through helping others work with theirs. And how I do that is through spoken word. So I was just talking about my spoken word career, which began really in 2008, but I took it on professionally in 2009.
Okay.
I'm also a novelist, and I'm mad because I left my 2 novels at home. I'm a novelist first. I've been a storyteller since yay high. And so my foundation is in stories. And I have 2 novels out, One Man's Treasure, and the sequel, which is called And They'll Come Home.
Okay.
And when I moved to LA from Oakland in 2003, my mission was to get One Man's Treasure published, mainstream. That was the goal. I had written a movie script in '99 called Love's Train, which I'm still trying to get produced, but it's kind of on the back burner.
Okay.
But I had that, and I had One Man's Treasure half written when I got here. And my focus was just, I got to get this book finished and I got to get it published. And so I finally finished it around August of 2003. And I met what happened? Oh, one of my staff that I was supervising. I used to work right around the corner at the Inglewood Parole Office, right here in Inglewood. And one of my staff members, who's now a great friend of mine, she said, you know who you need to go talk to? You need to go see Dr. Rosie Milligan. And I was like, who is that? And she explained to me that Dr. Rosie Milligan was a prominent independent publisher and an author here in LA, and it just so happened her office was right up on Manchester.
Okay.
And so I went to see her on a lunch break, and that's how she and I came to meet. And when I took her my manuscript, me being the Leo that I am, I just took it to her, and I had to get her attention quickly because I didn't have time to stay. So when I gave it to her, I introduced myself and I said, it's good. And she was like, really? And I said, yes, it's good. And that was all it took.
That's right.
And then she was curious, like,
That's
who
right.
is this? Who is this child? And what is she? She just came up in here and
That's
talked about her
right.
stuff is good. And she took it, and she went on vacation. And she called me 2 weeks later, and she said, okay, I see you. And she took me on as a client. So she represented me as my literary agent at the time. We shopped the book. And that went on for several years. And there's a whole backstory about how I got through that. But it took so long that I got tired of waiting for mainstream. What it was is I was dealing with the fact that I thought I needed mainstream in order to be successful. And that's why it was taking so long, because I was really attached to the idea that I needed them. Because that was my original goal, was to get published mainstream. And when it wasn't happening, I was frustrated, I was upset, I thought it wasn't meant to be, but I knew my story had to be told. So I did it myself. So I did it through Milligan Books. I self-published, but through the independent publisher, which is Milligan Books. And that is how One Man's Treasure turned into a sequel, because it wasn't supposed to be more than just that one book. And so the sequel came in 2008, and by that time I had started doing a little bit of spoken word, and again, Dr. Rosie Milligan, and she has Black Writers on Tour every year. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
No.
It's like a big book convention here in LA, and Rosie Milligan is the host. She puts it on every year, and they have a poetry contest. And I did a little 1-minute poem. It's actually the poem that starts off my sequel. And I was horrified because when I had dabbled in spoken word prior to that, I ran away from it because I had met so many professional people, and they all scared me because they all knew their work off book, and it was very advanced, and I was like, oh, I don't think I belong on the mic, which is a joke now, but I was like, I don't think I belong on the mic. I think I better just write the poems and maybe just go sit down. So I did. I left for 3 years. I didn't actually leave, but spiritually I left.
I understand.
For like 3 years, and I just wrote, but I really wanted to be back on the mic. I wanted to do what they were doing. And so in 2008, I went to Black Writers on Tour, and I entered the spoken word contest. I was horrified with my little 1-minute poem, and I got up there and I did it. And once I did it, off book, it was on. It was on, and I never looked back. And I thought, oh, I do belong on the mic, and I'm going to be on the mic. I had no idea what that meant at the time, but it's very serious now. It's very, very serious.
So it just opened you up
all the way.
And I'm just listening to this theme of how you were on this one path for the publishing, and you had to come off that path.
Yeah, it happened though. It actually did happen. After I released it, after I literally released the idea that I needed mainstream, and then I published it myself, mainstream came and got me. 8 months later. I waited 4 years almost. Cried and screamed and fussed for almost 4 years, and all I had to do was let it go.
That's it.
I say all I had to do, but it's not that easy sometimes. I had to let it go so it could come get me.
That's right.
Because it was supposed to come get me.
Now, can we talk about that for a
Yes.
second? You're just trying to get extra tambourine moments. That's all. That's all.
I'm about to tell you that I'm a motivational speaker. That's why.
Talk about how you got to release things in order, and you don't chase things. You allow things to chase you.
And that's the thing. Okay, I'm a motivational speaker as well. So I've got the novels. I do the spoken word. I'm also an editor and a literary coach, but I also do motivational speaking. One of the things that I've learned along the way is that concept of what has to happen when you really, 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 really want something so bad that you just cry and cry. And I've told the story about how I used to literally I used to go to sleep with my manuscript, a big bulky manuscript. I used to sleep with it next to my head on the pillow like it was my man or something. I'm serious. I used to cry. 2 o'clock in the morning, I would be up crying. When is it going to be time? I don't understand what's taking so long. Why don't they? I used to go through that, and it was very pitiful, and I didn't like how it felt. It's just how I felt. And I just got worn out. After 4 years, I was worn out. And then I thought, I'm tired of them. Like, I don't feel like waiting for them. I'm going to do it myself. And so I was able to do it myself, and once I did, then I realized what power there was in self-publishing, which is how all of my books came to be after I wrote the novel, after I published the novel myself. Self-publishing became something that I was very enthusiastic about, because there's so much power in it.
Yes.
Nobody's going to tell you what to do. No one's going to tell you what you can and can't put in your book. And it's important, especially as a new writer, I really feel, to do something like that, to self-publish something. It doesn't have to be anything big. Something, though, because there's so much power in doing something yourself, knowing that you do not need outside approval. You need that coming up in the business. I really do think you need that. And so once I did that, it opened the doors to all of my other products, which are self-published. Right. And releasing what it is that you are really attached to is the key. If it doesn't happen naturally, like I got worn out and it just naturally happened, you can do it deliberately. Just, you have to really know that you have to release it, and you have to really want to get in that space in order to say, all right, what do I need to do to start releasing this thing? It's not that you don't want it, because it wasn't that I didn't want mainstream. I always did. It was just that by the time it came and got me, I wasn't really thinking about it that much, because I was busy and I was content with what I had already done for myself. So in releasing, that has to be something, if it doesn't happen naturally, you have to really want it, and you have to make certain efforts to do it. Whatever that is for you, whatever it is that you know that you're doing, you're crying, you're screaming, you're cussing, you're fussing, you're talking to people about it all day long, that kind of stuff has to stop so that you can start to detach. You can deliberately detach. You don't have to wait. And that's key to letting your fortune chase you. That's right. And yes, when you're chasing a dream, that's a different type of chase. It is. But when you're chasing a thing or a person or a situation outside of like an entire picture, like the dream, then it becomes something different if you are in so much turmoil that you cannot even function properly throughout the day. That is a problem. That's right. It is a problem. And you will not have that thing. You won't. You will not have that thing, especially the way you really want it. Right. You won't. It won't come sit. It won't come sit in your lap.
That's right. That other stuff has to get worked out. And what a lot of times people don't understand is that delay is not denial. Right. And so you have to wait for other things that sometimes we're not aware of to get put in place. Yes. So that when you move into it, and there's also growth within the person, and as you're saying, readiness of the person to be able to receive all that comes with the desire of our heart. So we have to mature into that space first. And we think we're ready. We always think we're ready. It's like, it was time, 3 years ago. I don't know what they was waiting for. I was ready. I was ready. I was here. Where were they? So. Okay. So tell us this. So where can people get a hold of your books? And if they want to get a hold of you to hire you for motivational speaking? Okay. Everything that you need about me is on www.hustledivaspeaks.com. hustledivaspeaks.com. I have 2 poetry books. It's really 4, but 3 of them are in one book. Okay. One of those books is Vicariously Speaking. And I'm also a life mission advocate, so if you don't know what it is that you are here to do, like really do, your life's mission, I do talk about that, and I have a book. It's called You Are What You Say You Are, Claiming Your Life's Mission and Living Your Dream. And you can get that on hustledivaspeaks.com. I also have Wisdom Nuggets, which is a book of wise quotes of mine that I just put out recently. It's doing really well. And My Sentiments Exactly, which is going to be my new poetry book, is coming out in the next month or so. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Dr. Walls and Friends, and best of luck to you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you.